Today, at last, it was published in Westminster, but the report was written 1 year ago and stopped taking evidence 18 months back. It's the product of the Intelligence and Security Committee, but Dominic Grieve was more its architect than any other individual, and the government's decision to prevent publication before the last election still puzzles him.
They have never given a credible explanation as to why they held it up. I think it should have been published in early November. Obviously, if it had been published, it would have attracted some attention, but seeing we were about to embark on a major democratic event, namely an election, where we in fact now know from the government itself that the Russians sought to interfere with it, seems to me it was very much in the public interest that they should have this information.
The committee revealed its consternation that the intelligence agencies simply didn't go looking for Russian interference at the time of the 2016 Brexit referendum or 2017 general election.
We know that Russia targets the UK, and not just to steal secrets or research. It suits Russia if there is disunity in the West.
What we do know about Russian influence in the UK is that it's the new normal. Successive governments have welcomed Russian oligarchs and their money with open arms.
Right from 2006, when Alexander Litvinenko was poisoned in London by Russian agents, the government should have been reassessing its view of Russia and the threat posed by it, said the committee, but instead pinned its hopes on resets and mutual business interests. Even the hacking of the Democratic National Committee in 2016 and circulation of material designed to damage Hillary Clinton's election campaign didn't prompt action, and the committee today decried confusion and lack of direction in the UK's cyber defences.
This is fundamentally about power and priorities and hard decisions, and Britain hasn't shown its willingness to do that yet. We still have dirty money flooding through the City of London and through our property market. We still have spies running riot from both China and from Russia, conducting influence operations, and we've not shown the willpower or determination or focus needed to deal with it.
The report doesn't blame Boris Johnson or the DG of MI5 or indeed the Cabinet Secretary personally. Rather, it paints a picture of systemic muddle in Whitehall, in not addressing the Russian threat seriously enough, and of ongoing problems, for example, in cyber operations where no one is clearly in charge. It hardly inspires confidence. With the US Secretary of State in town today, the government faced questions about the Russia report and pushed back hard.
Russia is a top national security priority. We call out Russia when it's necessary. We've shown that in relation to the cyber attacks on research and development facilities in the US, the UK and Canada. We've done that together with our partners, and we are not for a second complacent about the threat Russia poses when it comes to cyber.
For many, it's clear this is not over. The intelligence agencies may not yet have looked systematically at Russian attempts to swing Brexit, but several members of the committee, and indeed its former chair, believe a new inquiry is necessary to do just that.
We need to understand, is it the case that in 2016 the Russians, for whatever reason, really decided that they were not going to try to influence or interfere with the referendum result? So this is an unusual example of them having done essentially nothing. Or is it that we've missed something, in which case we ought to know what they were doing to better protect us for the future? I do want to emphasise this. Nobody on the committee was talking about the issues in the referendum having to be reopened as a result of this, quite apart from anything else. What influence the Russians may have had over this, if they did interfere or try to interfere, is unquantifiable.
President Putin has long favoured assertive action, be that by the military or his intelligence services, in what he regards as Russia's interests. Today, leading UK parliamentarians have argued that must be acknowledged and more effectively countered if the two countries are to find new ways to coexist better.